When I think about the Xbox One, I find it interesting. I wouldn't say it's like the other consoles, like the PS4 or the Series S, but it's that uniqueness that keeps me coming back to this console over the others. However, one might wonder if this still makes a console a worthwhile purchase in 2024, and how performance holds up after 11 years, the variety of games the Xbox One has to offer, the affordability of the console today if you're looking to own one, the longevity of it, and the experience of playing with a controller after just 11 years. When it comes to performance, it becomes quite clear that the Xbox One holds up after these years, with the first game being Fortnite. You can see that the Xbox One holds up a consistent frame rate of around 50 to 60 FPS, and in very rare cases, you'll see the frame rate drop below that. And for the average player like me, you could definitely notice a difference if you compare this to other consoles around the time, especially if you're one who plays via keyboard and mouse, with the PS4 being a prime example of this. While this is a good console and has a lot of well-known titles, the hardware is not as powerful as the Xbox One, revealing the choppy frame rates of around 20 to 40 FPS at worst and highs of 50 FPS at best, seeing only high frame rates if you're in an area with no players or an area to little to no monuments in the game, only made more apparent if you decide to learn keyboard and mouse on this console. And it brings back a thought, and a thought in a way that I still have. When you see the releases of these latest gen consoles, you'll notice that most of the time, without fail, the Xbox One or the Xbox will come out on top, being the most powerful console on the market. And since it's not working as hard to run the game, the console also runs quieter, giving you that much needed silence, something that PS4 owners can only dream of. And if I'm not mistaken, the PS4 never used to be this loud. It's only as the hardware gets older will you notice that the console becomes louder to sustain its peak performance. The console needs 3 wires to be fully set up, or 2 if you don't count the cable needed to power the brick. If you're looking at the back of the console for the first time, you may be puzzled for a second, seeing the presence of 2 HDMI ports. This dates back to when the console was first released, with the aim of making it your home media machine, but I assume that didn't go well. The other ports include an optical out, 2 USB-A ports, one on the side, a Connect port, and an IR out. The console features a 2-tone finish with a drastically different look than its predecessors, with the right side being glossy and the left side being matte. The power button is touch-based, continuing the design from the Xbox 360, a good choice for longevity since it lacks a physical button. The design choice is validated by the sync button on the side of the console, which became non-functional after 11 years. If that was the only way to pair my controller, it would be a hassle. Fortunately, using a cable is just as effective, only need to connect it once to pair the controller. Like the PS4, the Xbox One was the first console to adopt a different type of disc slots, which I believe is more durable over time, since there's no tray or moving parts. Looking at the console as a whole, you can definitely tell it's seen better days, partly due to its tendency to pick up scratches over the years. However, one thing that's less likely to scratch is the discs. The Xbox 360 was infamous for its ring of death, the ease of picking up scratches. It got so bad that Microsoft had to introduce download discs as a backup for those affected. However, the new disc were the holy grail of solutions. They could store more data and were more durable, making them ideal, especially if you had kids and were worried about damage. However, that also marked the end of playing games directly from the disc, meaning you would have to wait for the disc to install to the hard drive before you could play. For some, this might be disappointing, especially if you're used to the Xbox 360, where you could just pop in the disc and start playing. But this trade-off allowed for more data storage, leading to more visually impressive games for the time. As for longevity, I'd say the console holds up well. It isn't easily damaged. After all, it's designed to be plugged in and left in place, making it unlikely that the console will deteriorate quickly, unless of course you smoke indoors, but that's another story. If you was to go out today and buy this console, you'd likely find it priced between $40 and $120 in refurbished condition. I believe value for proposition for this console is high, and in some cases, you might be able to get it even cheaper if you explore the second-hand market. And for what this console offers, the value is definitely there, making it a worthwhile purchase. Now, you may wonder how the controller holds up after all these years, and my simple answer is solid. This controller feels comfortable, even when compared to the latest models. It's clear that Microsoft found a design that works and stuck with it, unlike PlayStation, which has changed theirs over the years. But I guess the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, there's one downside that's holding this controller back. It uses batteries. With the average lifespan of a battery in a controller lasting around 40 hours, competitive players may find themselves constantly needing new batteries. If buying new batteries isn't an option, you can simply go with a cable or use a rechargeable battery pack. And with that said, the trade-off might be worth it because the controller is comfortable, making the PS4 controller feel like a creaky plastic mess. But it brings us back to our final question. What keeps me coming back to the Xbox One after all these years? Well, long story short, Game Pass. With Game Pass, you can not only play, but you can also stream games to the console. This means that if the game is on Game Pass, you bet your console can play it, even if it's an obscure title. And if you have a stable internet connection, it almost feels like you're running the game real time on the device. And since it's server-based gaming, all you need is an Xbox controller and a device with a Wi-Fi and a Bluetooth connection, meaning I can play on my TV, my phone, my tablet, or my watch if I wanted to. Hardware is no longer the limiting factor, allowing me to pick up where I left off. And if you don't have Game Pass, remote play is still a real option, making it a valuable console and a great purchase in my eyes around that factor. I think ultimately it's down to you. What do you value within a console? And like I say, the Xbox One has aged like fine wine. Didn't do too well in the beginning, but as the age has coming on in it, as it's getting older, the value I feel is perceived to be higher for this console, especially for the price and the services that are around this console. We could say almost like an ecosystem that this console offers, and that's something I find really valuable. But I don't know you, I've never met you, I don't know who you are, let's be honest. I'm just talking to a screen. You need to find out what you value with a console. What makes you want to switch on that console after a long day? What makes you want to play this console? What makes you prefer Xbox over PlayStation? And use that and see if this console offers this, even in 2024. And if it does, then you've got your answer. It is a good console in 2024. If it does not offer that, then look elsewhere, somewhere else. Maybe the Series S. I've got a video here. So, Series S, a video I recommend, and a subscribe, and a short that will be somewhere. It'll probably be on my face, I'm not sure. And I'll see you tomorrow.